But if we're talking about teams that are gonna drink the most with us at championship weekend, that's huge. So
that's a lock if they're there.
Yeah. That's a lock. Yeah.
I'm open. Welcome to the I'm Open podcast. What direction is it?
I'm open. Yeah. Shout out super friend of the pod, Cam Brock. This Frisbee right here that I'm pointing at is actually his 600th career goal. So that's pretty fucking sick. We made it, I think, right? That means we made it.
Yeah, we made it.
Shout out Cam Brock. That's fucking crazy. Of all the people to give that disc to. Right. Finally, you should just make your apartment just like this is the AUDL Hall of Fame now. That room. We've declared it.
My background is just things I've acquired and that mean much to me. But yeah. So shout out Cam Brock. Also, should we rep shop.bultimate? That's where I got this hot little sun hoodie from.
Yeah, go to shop.bultimate.com to get a Team USA soccer jersey or a Summit thing or a Pokemon shirt. Yeah, that's enough plugs. Okay, let's get into it. The season ended. Did you guys hear about this?
I did.
The season ended.
Oh, it ended on a random Tuesday afternoon
with a doinkopotamus from the Dallas Legion. That was a great tweet, by the way, whoever tweeted that. But that means
I assumed that was you, Sam. I'll be honest.
I thought it was Sam too.
That was not me. I was on the plane.
Well, that's a huge compliment to have a tweet of mine get the I think it's Sam treatment.
Hell yeah, Joe. Way to go.
Yeah, I was on a plane. I couldn't watch it. If I were not on a plane, I don't know that I would have watched it. But anyway, we got to get into tier talk because season's over. We know everything there is to know about all of these teams, and we can put them in the right order. So let's do it.
I'm kind of nervous for this because this is it. Like we have all the information.
Yeah.
All the games in the regular season have been played. So it's like we got to get this shit right. So man.
Yeah. Let's go bottom up. That's always a fan favorite. We got to talk about Legion Houston because the Legion pulled off a second straight win against Houston.
Yep.
Houston now they both have 2 wins.
And those are the Legion's only 2 wins against Houston.
Houston's also only 2 are against Dallas.
What can we do with that?
Recency bias, you got to go with Dallas because they just won their last 2 games. So maybe at the start of the year, Houston was above, but recency bias as in this tier list is as of right now. And as of right now, the Legion just won 2 in a row against Houston.
I get your point, but but recency bias is usually used as that's a bad. You don't want to have recency bias.
I know, and I'm using it as a good thing.
And you're like, by the law of recency bias, we should put in the Legion, which I think that's a valid argument. I'm not against what you're saying. I want to do my due diligence here.
This is how we have 2-hour-long pods, Andrew. You doing your due diligence on Legion.
I know. Should we look up some stats?
This is the final one. This is the last time that we can even be diligently due.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Houston's had better results looking at the year long, but what Ryan's saying, you got to give Dallas some credit for turning things around and last few games that last Dallas Austin game was decently close. It was as close as any of the Houston Austin games were. I think regardless, San Diego probably doesn't belong in this tier, but I think it's really just an ordering of these 3, which I think the Nitro are last in anyway.
They're pretty much neck and neck with scores. Scores against Legion are last in the league. So if you're playing the Legion, unless you're named the Havoc, you're gonna get you're gonna dunk on them. So that's pretty bad. I don't know. What are some other things that are important? O-line conversion.
How about like completion percentage or something like that?
Completion percent. I think completion percentage is okay in general. Legion are last. Havoc are second to last. The thing is, they're next to they're next to each other in everything. So like, it is pretty cool. It is pretty close. Red zone conversion, that doesn't really matter when you're so bad.
Andrew, what does your gut tell you here? Like, what are you trying to convince yourself one way or another? Are you looking at the stats with a bias, with a recency bias?
I'm looking at the stats to try to remove any bias. You know what I'm saying?
This whole tier list is based on vibes and bias.
I know, but I just want to look at a couple stats before we, I think at the end of the day, what I'm seeing is that it's just a pick 'em. It doesn't really matter. They're both equally bad.
I was gonna say, spoiler alert, their stats are gonna say they're both doo-doo.
But not just that though. It's like they're next to each other. They're doo-doo and they're next to each other. So it's like,
I say
it's pick your poison. No one's gonna be mad that one's ahead of the other, is what I'm saying. As long as they're next, they belong next.
I think we reward Dallas for turning it around, and like we thought they were gonna go 0-12. So like being better as of late, I think that's worth something.
Yeah.
Just to represent like where the state of the league, like in this moment.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
I have something to say, but like we've kind of skipped over this, but like the Royale, someone was in our comments on one of our tier lists. It was either the last one or the one before, and they were like, "Look, like I get that they're winless this year. They're winless this year, right? They haven't.
0-12.
They're winless. They're winless this year. Detroit is winless in the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, are they in the same tier? Like,
they are right now.
Maybe Mechanics tier deserves to just be Mechanics, and that's just kind of the way of the world. And Royale is really bad, but maybe they're not Mechanics bad.
I don't hate that take.
I also don't hate that.
So like maybe have them bottom of F. It's just up to what it's about the statement that we want to say. Like
I Andrew, your take is perfect. I agree. If it was my tier list, I'd move them up. Mechanics. You want you literally haven't won in 6 seasons. Like
also Royale could beat some of these teams.
Yeah,
I'll just go out and say that Royale could be a Houston or a Dallas or a Portland.
Yeah,
easy. And the reason Houston and Legion have won games because they play each other. Like, that's it.
Absolutely.
All right. How's that F tier?
That's great.
Recency bias. I like it.
Cool. I think that's how it should be. Sweet. Moving up to D. The Rascals beat Chicago pretty well, and I think they finally showed what we've been saying about them, that they're in the kind of race with all those mid central teams and just keep losing them. But
I don't know if we've all been saying that, or if I've been advocating for that.
You have been
that by everybody else, but
I
agree.
Did they play themselves into the old central tier, which is now just the C tier?
I think so.
I think they're a tier above Seattle for sure. If we're gonna keep Seattle in D,
I'll be honest.
Toronto looked pretty Duke.
I think everyone in C and D could beat each other.
Like the Radicals have
I don't think these teams could beat the Cats. I don't know if the Cats should be here anymore, but
I think there's a split between Philly and Chicago. I think Philly and the what'd you say?
Well,
I mean, come on, we joke on Philly, but Philly's beating all of those teams below it.
I said I think that's probably true.
Oh, okay. I heard that. Well, so I didn't know if you were contemplating Philly.
No.
Philly, no. And Cats, we're all a Cats pod here, but Cats can go out and compete with Minnesota and beat down Chicago and Radicals, but then they also can play a 1-point game to Detroit and also play a 1-point game to Radicals. So this Cats team is hit or miss with whether it's in the C tier or B tier. We could also just make a separation between playoff teams, or should we not go that way?
No, I mean Chicago is a playoff team, but they suck.
They suck too, yeah.
I have a question for you guys. Where do you think in the league the Alley Cats are in terms of completion percentage?
Super high.
I'd say probably pretty high.
They are third in the league, and they're ahead of the Empire.
That rocks.
So they don't turn it over that much. And I know like indoors, blah, 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 whatever, but they play half their games not indoors. And that's higher than I thought. And there's a lot of indications, but like I just see like good teams are up at the top of completion percentage and bad teams are lower. Like that's just kind of how it shakes out.
Mhm.
And they're elite in the league in completion percentage. So shout out. I'm cool with them top of C. Are you trying to argue Philly above them, Ryan? Or like what are you saying?
Well, I was
No.
saying Alley Cat's possibly bottom of B. So I
Yeah,
think he was going
I'm
against that.
speaking out loud of like, I think there's a separation between Philly and the Cats and then that rest of the C tier. Cause I would put like, with how the Growlers played and like how I've seen Seattle play when they're going their best, like I think Seattle could beat the Radicals and I think Seattle could beat Pittsburgh. I don't think it's gonna happen possible, but like I don't know how we're gonna change the tier, but like I'm just putting that out there if you guys also agree with that. You could also totally disagree with me and say my take
I think
is
no, I see what you're saying. I think both Seattle and San Diego are like pretty good sometimes. But it's just like their seasons have been dog shit, so it's like they kind of do worse. But I think I agree that like at face value they're similar. That I would have them at a similar level to some of these central teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a matter of like having a much worse record, I guess, that puts them in D.
But I'm also on this is the end of the tier list. We don't need to make radical changes. We're going to keep this podcast short. Like, we could just rank them and then make that separation be what we currently have.
I think there's an argument for Alley Cat's bottom of B. And then like that, to me, that's a clean cut of like C, D, F, Mex are like, that's all. You're not a playoff team.
Except for Chicago.
Except for Chicago.
Okay.
And
but
Oakland.
They don't deserve it.
Yeah, and Oakland.
Well, there's some exceptions, but yeah.
But
yeah, okay,
I agree.
I agree.
Then. I agree. Like in my head,
Chicago's
these are like
a lot worse though.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm with you.
Okay.
Let's do that, and then let's order these things. So, Aviators beat the Spiders.
Listen. I have a weird take on this, but I think you could argue that even though the Aviators made the playoffs over the Spiders, it can be argued that the Spiders deserve to be higher on the tier list because the Aviators they split the season series basically, right? They split the head-to-head, and then the Spiders beat the Summit, and
I see that.
They lost,
but
I
think
that's kind of.
I
but
think
the Aviators barely beat the Growlers, right?
Like I hear your argument. I think I just disagree.
It can
with
be
you.
argued. It can be argued.
Yeah, no, I totally.
I don't even know if that's what I think, but I'm just throwing it out there.
I totally hear the argument, but like I don't. I think the Aviators looked like the better team in both games. They just happened to like really fucking doink the first game, and
that's valid.
I don't think they're much better. I think they're like essentially the same team, but I think the Aviators have shown that they can be trusted a little bit more. And yeah, like Oakland beat the Summit, but they also lost to the Growlers in the only game that mattered that much for their season.
Yeah, like I don't see
know.
LA. I don't see LA. I mean, basically, we did see LA go to a game they had to win and won it. And then we saw Oakland go to a game they had to win and didn't win it against the worst team. So like Oakland does have the better win on the season and possibly, arguably a better overall resume. But that, I don't know, when it's winning time, you got to win.
I'm going to go with recency bias here. And since the last game they played, the Aviators won. And honestly, both games were really tight. So I'm going to take just both those games and say, give me the Gators. Like, it's close, but fucking give me the Gators, man.
I was just playing devil's advocate, and that creeped into my mind when I was driving home from work. I was like, if you're a big Spiders head, a crazy Spiders guy, you might, you could, there's an argument there, and them beating the Summit was pretty cool. But
that was then.
That was then, and this is now. And that Aviators win was like a really solid dub. Like they stayed in that thing, and a lesser team, or maybe even like this Aviators team earlier in the year would have just kind of rolled over. But they stayed in it. It was a really solid win. Exciting game. So yeah, I don't know. They deserve the nod. It feels kind of crazy just shooting them to the top of B, but like they looked good. They looked like they were kind of like clicking as a team.
And I think it's partly like we were too harsh on them last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's crazy shooting them to the top of B, because I think this whole B tier is kind of a toss up. Like these are all the secondary teams in all of the the playoffs, and like I don't know if they're gonna make a run. Minnesota Central, so they'll probably go to championship weekend, but like the rest of these teams, I think we're all expecting not to make championship weekend. So
yeah, speaking of it being a toss up, and this might be like the very last thing we have to cover, but last week we did a coin flip for Boston, Minnesota, I believe. Do you want to just like switch it, give them each a turn?
I think maybe Minnesota should be higher than that. I like
higher than Austin.
Why are they so low?
Well, all these teams are so mad.
They played one good team and they got wrecked, and they have really bad.
But they played two good teams and they got. What was their second loss?
They lost
Chicago.
to Chicago.
It was Union. That's why they're so low. Yeah, I don't know. I still think like they only lost 2 games, and the Central's not that good, including themselves, but they were so clearly the best. Like they beat the Alley Cats every time they play, but they're right next to them right now. I don't even.
Those games are close, though.
I think the Glory should be last in B.
I
can't have the Alley Cats behind the Glory.
I see what you're saying.
I'm down to flip a coin again. I think Windchill Talk would agree with that. I agree with that. I just can't see Glory at the bottom. Like, come on. What are we talking about?
Well, I do.
Impressive.
I do.
Yeah. If this is like if this is the playoff teams we don't think are making a run, I think, part of it's being in the East, of course, but I see Boston as like the least likely to do so.
Yeah, that's fair.
Glory barely beat Montreal. Let's not forget.
They've had some ugly games. I don't know.
The Glory are in the playoffs. Yeah, they're in the playoffs because they beat Philly twice, and Philly we're saying is a C tier team. None of their New York or DC games were close.
Yeah.
So I don't think they. I think that they're a very solid team. I don't think they deserve C at all, but I don't think they deserve to be above Minnesota or the Alley Cats.
I'm cool with that, but I'm a noted. Cool. They would be cool with that.
I'm not cool with that, but I also am clearly outvoted, so I guess.
And the Glory want to be lowered, so
that's true.
Ryan, I do gotta say, you have looked really good with your Glory take. Like, shout out. You were a visionary. I was a hater. I've come around.
We were all haters.
They have left a much better taste in my mouth this year, as a organization, just in general. And
I'm pretty sure you guys called that take so stupid or something. Like
we shouted out
we said reasonable. It was just not reasonable at all.
The take was that they would make the East final.
Oh, is that what the take was?
Okay.
Yeah, on the chart, it's they'll make the East final. We were like, hell no. Which I still would probably put it hell no, even though they're one game away.
But
yeah.
I think
good call on them making the playoffs. I know you did call that initially.
Yeah, you called that
before you upped the ante.
I shat on you a lot for that, and I was very wrong. So shout out.
You gotta live on the edge.
They're letting you drink beer in the stands, I understand.
And is it DC giving away free tacos? Their Twitter was echoing that. That was great.
Oh,
yeah, they are.
Get ready.
I will not be here, unfortunately.
Damn.
So sad.
B tier's looking good.
Yeah, B tier looks good. A tier is nothing happened.
We're gonna look so dumb when the Soul gets shat on, but there's no way to know that yet.
Yeah, they'll get to host it, and that game was pretty close.
Or
the Soul, I don't think we can put them much lower. I mean, like I think there's
No, I know.
there's hints
or
of
they
them.
win that game and we look dumb, no matter what. Like,
Yeah, true.
No, we couldn't look dumb for that. They haven't shown us anything that makes them seem like they deserve higher than this.
That's
but
true.
I think they've shown lots of things that make me worried they deserve lower.
They are in the bottom, not even just half, but like in the bottom quarter of the league in terms of completion.
Oh, speaking of stats, when I was just looking at the win chill stats, because their offensive stats are like so mediocre, but their defensive stats are really good. Like they're like first in the league in opponents' O-line conversion and hold percentage, and they're third in opponent completion percentage, but the Havoc are second. So teams, I think, just do not take them seriously and turn it over a lot and have terrible completion percentages and donk them still.
Yeah, and like six of those games are Austin. True. Yeah, it's Austin fucking around and Dallas doing their best and having terrible completion percentage. Okay,
that's so mean, but it's true.
All right.
Tier list. That's tier list.
Tier list. Tier talk.
Tier list.
Tier list.
Before we move on, the Shred are like, because I've been looking at this stuff. The Shred are the top in the league in like tons of these like categories. So they've been killing it this year. They deserve to be top of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also look awesome too.
Yeah, I'm excited for this playoffs. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Before that, we need to get into Rhine's Lines results. We need to know who won
Rhine's
Lines.
Yeah, this is a premiere
season.
double episode of Tier Talk and Rhine's Lines.
Where the fuck did it go?
I knew we were trying to do this quickly, so I started to go through and circle on my paper who was going to win, so I could just go through it. And after 2 games, I was like, I don't want to know what's going to happen, so I stopped.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
While we do that, I wrote down all of my lines last week, and I'll just, for my own ego, say them out loud while we go through them.
All right.
Because for our listeners out there, I was not allowed to speak in the last episode.
We have Boston -3.5. So congratulations to Sam, Andrew, and Joe. Then we had Breeze -6.5.
Time out. One, I had the line at 4.5 there. 3.5, like that is way too small of a line for that game.
Okay, Ryan, you can't do this every single time. We gotta.
It's gonna happen.
You just post them later or something. I don't know. Let's go.
Just edit this and add a voiceover.
Yeah.
Then we have Breeze -6.5. Congratulations to Sam and to Ryan.
Okay.
Then we have
yeah, buddy.
Fuck.
Union -3.5. So congratulations to Andrew and to Ryan.
Yeah.
Nervous.
Spiders -1.5. Congratulations to Andrew and to Joe.
That was too big.
Here we have Cats -2.5.
I know I didn't get this one.
Congratulations to not Andrew and to not Ryan.
Nice.
Here we have the contentious Empire -9.5. Congratulations only to Ryan.
Can I give my brief spiel? I was at this game and I was on the Empire sideline. I was screaming at them to score again. And I went to Nunez. I was like, Nunez, like, come on, you gotta call a good line, tell them to make sure they score. And then like Osgar throws like some like long goal. And I was like, fuck yes. And he came off. I was like, Ryan, thank you. Like, it's exactly what I needed. And then they put the D-line out there and the D-line gets scored on. And they had all like heard me talking during the O point. And so I was just like on the ground, like, no. And a bunch of them were laughing at me. And to be fair, I was pretty drunk. But anyway, at the end, Jack Williams just threw the disc to the crowd as he is wont to do. And then it ended at 9, and I was devastated.
I've noticed that he does that. That must like fuck with his completion percentage.
That's like his thing. Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit.
He's like, fuck it. I guess he doesn't care.
Anyway,
we've got Philly -3.5.
Ooh,
great line. Congratulations only to Ryan.
Woo!
Ryan steal this from me.
Here we have Rascals -5.5. Congrats to only Ryan again.
Oh,
Then we've got Hustle minus 1.5.
good line.
Congratulations to Ryan and myself.
Ryan's killing it.
Cascades minus 4.5. Wow.
Damn, I really
Congratulations
picked the
to
Hustle on that one.
Sam and to myself.
Dude, I'm blowing it. I'm about to blow this.
Here we have Havoc minus 1.5. So congratulations to Sam and to Ryan.
Let's go, bud.
Then we've got Spiders minus 5. Congratulations to Sam and to Andrew. And I took a push there, so that's probably not good for me.
Well, you're not supposed to be talking.
Well, next one. You can read the results.
Yeah, I think that's for picking. Here we have Windchill minus 9.5. So congratulations to Andrew and to me.
Oh, wow.
And then to finish out the season, we have Flyers minus 7.5.
Oh, yeah. Ryan was pissed about this one, but you got lucky.
Congratulations to only Ryan.
Let's go.
God damn, Ryan.
Okay, I will say this game, like, there's no way to give an accurate line because this wasn't the Dallas team. This was. Did you guys see the roster? This was like the Flyers B team.
Yeah.
They because this was on a Tuesday in Carolina, so this was just like anybody in Carolina, like that wanted to play.
Wait, fair. did anyone from Dallas make it to that game?
I'd have to go cross check the roster, but I don't know.
Like Hustad did, but classic Brooks Wallace was not there. But Carolina also didn't bring a lot of their players either.
Yeah. So it was just like show up and we'll give you a Legion jersey, basically.
Yeah, it was like
That's
Dallas
crazy. Scrimmage. That's awesome.
All right, moment of truth.
Oh my god, I am freaking out right now.
I think I might have passed Joe. Maybe.
I have no idea. I black out every week during the results.
I love how the last time I had a really good week, I wasn't there and you guys made the lines and then you guys picked them to me. And if I win this week specifically, it'll also because I wasn't talking. Yeah. Maybe that should be my strategy every time going forward.
That's generally a good, yeah. My 1 week that I couldn't talk or that I wasn't there was also a decent week for me.
Yeah.
I think Sam's the only one who had a bad week.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm missing it.
Just kind of tough, but maybe that just means that I'm the worst picker. So you guys made good picks while I wasn't there.
All right. I've got the final standings.
All right.
So in last place is Everest at 1-0 with 1 correct pick. Then we have
1,000%, 100% winning percentage.
We do total correct, not percentage. Then we have Kyle at 7-4. We have Dan Yacht at 28-16, and then we take a real jump into 4th place. In 4th place by 1 pick, with 59-66 as their final regular season record, we have myself.
Let's go.
Tragic.
Oh, let's go.
60-65, we have Ryan in 3rd place.
Let's go.
He did. Wow. He was 1 behind me, and he's now 1 ahead of me. And in 2nd place, we have Sam at 62-63. He drops just below 500.
Oh, that hurts.
Which means Andrew at 66-59 is our champion.
Congratulations,
If
Andrew.
you would like to know how this week went specifically, Andrew, you went 5-9. Sam, you and I both went 6-8, and Ryan went 8-6.
Nice.
Wow.
Woo!
What a season.
Let's fucking go.
Ryan's
I won.
lines,
I'm the best one.
You're the best. Joe's the worst.
I'm the best.
Andrew,
I'm not the best at a lot of things, so I'm gonna really milk this one.
Andrew, you're the reigning Ryan's Lines champion of season 1. Can't wait for season 2. It's gonna be epic.
I I cannot believe I won this. Like, I'm shocked. Like, I can't believe I won this shit. Like,
Hey, I'm glad one of us was over 500. That's a win.
That's money.
A win.
Oh man,
Ryan really won because the three of us all agreed 3 times in a row, and Ryan got all those points.
Hell yeah.
Also,
That's tough.
if it makes I don't know, any type of feeling better about our lines, before this week we were 222 and 222. And then in this week that Ryan did not choose the Lions, we were -6 on picks.
All right.
6 below 500 to be clear. But we were at 500 before this week.
We know ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great season. Let's preview the playoffs, and then let's do more Ryan's lines.
Fuck yeah.
All right. New segment. New segment.
So is this different from the past Ryan's lines? Like, I win, right? We're not keeping track of. Are we doing it?
Yeah, I
separate?
think we'll call regular season title. Then we'll start from scratch. Have a playoffs winner. But it's not necessarily better to win the playoffs than the regular season.
Well, it's not. It's definitely not. I can say that.
But yeah, I think just each. I think it's fair to
All
give you a little trophy, and then we can start fresh.
I'm the best, so I'll
You are
probably
the
win
best.
this too.
Probably.
All right.
Yeah, let's get into it. I got Central up first. I got all these stats up for us to peruse and talk about, and then I have the results from the season. So Indy won the first game on Joe's birthday, 19-16, and then Indy also won the second game at home in June by 9. And they're gonna play at home again. And I mean, I don't know. Does anyone want to talk up the Union a little bit, or are we just gonna talk about the Alley Cats?
I got nothing. Ryan, you got the line cooking?
Are we doing the line now, or do we want to like talk about percentages and stats and all that stuff?
Well, I just feel like this one, like, what are we gonna say? Like, the Union are worse. They're definitely the worst team in the playoffs. They've got, they've been scored on more than they've scored. Their offense has just kind of looked a little sloppy. Yeah, I mean, even like a bad day from the Alley Cats, it's probably they're still gonna win. Knock on wood, but
yeah. All right. I'll get
looks...
into the line if you guys want me to say the line.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot more to say about it. I don't know if we're not doing the matchup justice, but that's fine.
They're all happening at the same time. Yeah, I'm probably not watching that one. So, okay, Cats -4.5.
Cats -4.5.
Well, give me Cats.
Oh man, the Alley Cats faithful that watch this are not gonna like it if I pick the Union. But I feel like the Union doesn't lose 17-26 in a playoff game. I feel like they tighten it up a little bit. What'd you say, 4.5, Ryan?
I do. Mm-hmm. I did, yeah.
They looked
that's
pretty rough
not a close game.
They looked rough against Madison's zone, but I don't think a zone would be as effective indoors. I'm gonna go Union, but I don't feel great about it. But I'm rooting for the Cats.
Go Cats.
You know me.
We know.
I'm putting some respect on Union and my boy Ben Priest, who's been killing it this year. So
sick tattoos too.
Sick tattoos. Yeah, I want to be him. Anyway.
All right, I'm gonna go Union here. Oh, I don't like it. What have you guys all said so far?
It feels stinky, Ryan. Join me.
Me and Andrew split.
And Joe hasn't said anything?
Yeah. I'm not allowed to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. All right,
thanks for reminding us. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too. I'll go Union here. So does that mean Joe's going Cats?
Yeah.
All right.
Does that mean I'm with Andrew, the champ?
Yeah.
It's a good place to be, Ryan.
It's a good place. It's a good place to be, Andrew. I like this.
Feel a little less stinky, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to be with the loser Tron Joe Maher over there.
Yeah. So yeah, Joe, if since this is a an irregular Rines lines, feel free to talk during the game discussion portion, but don't you dare say a word about about Rines
Hell
line.
yeah. I'm gonna talk so much during this part.
All right. Well, moving on, we got South Semi Flyers going to Austin for Lord knows what reason, but Austin's technically had the better season. Austin lost by 7 in Carolina, and then Austin lost by 2 when they met up in Austin. And these games were also on Joe's birthday and then on June 10th. So that's fun.
Nice.
That is fun.
But anyway, when I was putting together all these numbers, I noticed that Austin leads the league, or among the teams playing this weekend, they have the highest blocks per game. Which, I mean, every single number on here is just because they played Dallas and Houston a bunch of times. But
yeah,
9 blocks is good.
9 times they did that.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of hilarious that Austin has lost both head-to-heads and they're hosting the
yeah.
That's funny.
That's just not right. That's not right.
It's very funny. Yeah, no, I mean, when I was talking about Windchill having a good opponent completion percentage, the Soul are first, with their opponents having the worst completion percentage. And yeah, I mean, they have 9 wins for a reason. It's because they didn't have to play Carolina and Houston 6 times this year. So I don't know. I don't think that they're a bad team, and I think they have a bunch of players on their team who are really good. But
are the Souls losses the only non-Havoc Dallas games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't really dominate any of those games. And as much as they only lost to Carolina by 2 there, they just don't look as good. And I think the one kind of hope for them is that Carolina just lost to Houston a couple times, and I think they can be counting their blessings. Oh yeah, lost to Atlanta. I think they can be counting their blessings that Carolina doesn't look like the Carolina of last year or the year before or something, and I still don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah. I think this game could be close. I mean, last year is the closest we saw them playing a competitive game, and didn't they pull one away from Carolina, Austin?
Yeah.
So this isn't a world where Carolina just rolls them over. I think it's going to be competitive, but you'll my line here is going to be Carolina -2.5 because I expect.
All right, Joe,
Carolina
shut up.
this game. So that's my line, 2.5.
Last thing I want to say before we start saying our numbers.
Oh yeah, let's keep talking.
I want to shout out. I won't call these people out by name, but they know who they are. We were at a party at Layout back in January of this year, and we were with a couple of young bucks, a couple Soul players, and they were pretty fucking hammered, and they were just we're lock it in, championship weekend. We can lose. We have most of our game. We have 9 games against Dallas and the Havoc, and we're just we're gonna make championship weekend. Maybe they didn't mean maybe they just said we're gonna host the playoff game. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that is exactly what happened. So they were right in that respect. So shout out. They knew exactly. I don't know. So I'm not saying they went out and dropped these games against Carolina this season, but they knew they didn't have to win them. Maybe they. Yeah, no, they were playing to win. I'm not saying they weren't, but anyway.
Okay.
Give me Austin. Part of me still believes, that they didn't really give a shit about the regular season, and that when push comes to shove, they have a lot of really good players, and they can hang with Carolina, and possibly win. I certainly wouldn't pick them to, but I think they have a chance.
You say 2.5, Ryan?
2.5.
Okay, I'll go Soul. I think they lose by 1 or 2.
Sam, would you go?
I went Soul also.
All right. Well, then I'll go Carolina here. I think they can have a full roster and give a beat down to Austin. That's my take.
All right.
Joe's joining me.
Joe joins you.
Us two bottom two losers are going against these top two dogs here. So
interesting.
Hey, I'm with you right there. Okay, buddy.
All right. All right. Over to the East, we've got Boston. Also arguably the worst team in the playoffs, although probably not. Going to DC. Last time they went to DC, they lost by 7. When they hosted, they lost by 4. That game at DC had some moments to it though. It was pretty interesting for a bit there.
Well, I think most games in DC had some moments to it, but yeah, I want to give a big shout out to the Breeze because last week they, like, for the first time, just from start to close, were the better team against Toronto. And I did break my $200 money saved with my season tickets and pizza and beer. And it was just overall a delight to be at that game and see the Breeze just absolutely destroy another team's chances of making the playoffs. So that was great, and makes me very excited about this Glory game, which I think I'll be on an airplane for.
Yeah. Ryan, Andrew, any thoughts?
Not really. Nothing. I'm just looking at the Glory's logo and I'm just disgusted. That's all I can think about.
You mean you're looking at it and you already got ideas on how you're going to put that on ink and on your lower behind, huh?
It belongs above a butt on a tattoo. That's my only thought.
It does. I'm surprised the Glory players haven't gotten that tramp standard yet. Like, that seems like their vibe. Like, they would.
If they make championship weekend, we'll get it with you.
You have to.
We'll all get it with you. Oh yeah.
Oh,
verbal signature, all of us.
If
my girlfriend will break up. Emily will break up with me.
We gotta stop making tattoo deals. One of these is gonna come true.
All right, Ryan, give us a line.
All right. Simple line here. Let's go Breeze minus. Let's go 4.5.
Cool. That's the same as the Cats line. I think, man, that is tough. I think I'm gonna go with the Breeze. I think, I think we all think they're capable of beating that line, and I think that going to the playoffs, they're gonna want to put this game away, and they're not gonna treat it like a regular season game against Montreal where they give up a bunch of breaks in a row. So I'm gonna go DC.
I'm gonna give you guys a little window into how my mind works, and I think part of why I won Rines lines in the regular season, and that's because most of the time I would just pick like the team I thought was gonna lose, but like the line was just really big, and just on the aggregate that wound up working out for me. I'm gonna go against that now. I think I'm gonna pick the Breeze, just because every time Breeze goes to Boston, they do this thing where it's like, oh, it's kind of close, maybe, but then the Breeze kind of wins. But then like when they're playing at home, like just look at that, like they're so much better than this team. And they're not here to fuck around. Like they're gonna be firing on all cylinders. And I thought they looked better as a team. I kind of had some thoughts like a couple episodes ago of like, I don't know how their offense looks. It looks a little like that kind of quelled my worries, like the way they looked in that Boston game. So yeah, I'm going Breeze to cover.
I like your thought process, Andrew. I think actual sports books, people usually take the favorite. So your strategy would actually work out. And I think it's actually working out on my lines. So I'm going to take your strategy. And also, this is an easy pick for me because I know Breeze is going to the Eastern Conference or the Glory are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I got to take Glory here because they're winning this game. So I'm also just getting 5 points for free. So this is easy dub for me.
Easy. All right.
And I guess Joe's coming with me on that.
Joe's with you. Staunchly in the idiot square of the take chart. Right Joe's there with you.
He's a big Boston guy.
Huge Boston guy.
Glory.
All right. West. We've got based on regular season results, we've got the tightest race in the league. Colorado won by 3 and then 4 in their 2 games. This is exciting. We've only seen like Colorado against like an early season Aviators team that didn't look that good. I'm excited for this game. And I mean, Colorado's going to have a better roster than they did in those games too. So it's going to be sick.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm kind of hoping it's the best game of the weekend.
Me too.
Yeah.
You guys got to help me out with some chirps for both teams, because I'm definitely be on the sideline, going to each sideline and getting people's heads.
Tell Pavel his resume is ugly.
Oh, I will. Yeah, this game's gonna be great. I think both teams are better than they were before in their previous matchups, which just means this game is gonna be high level. I think both teams have prepared this whole season for the playoffs. I think the Aviators, like we joke and say Aviators rising, but I think they really have been rising. Like this last game against the Growlers, it really soared to like their top of their potential, which makes this game really close. The Summit, I've been speaking about 2 specific players all year in Calvin
Stoughton and Danny Landisman.
And they're both playing this week. So I was looking at stats because I was prepping our awards, and I was just looking at like per game stuff. Calvin Stoughton has like the most goals per game, which is kind of fun, like in the league. Danny Landisman has like the best offensive efficiency. So this game's going to be pretty fun. Very looking forward to it. I have a line, but I'm gonna let you guys talk more about this game before we get there.
Do you guys remember when which one's the Callahan nominee? Is that Calvin? Yeah, we were at the game and we were like, "Hey Calvin, do you wanna be at a video with us?" And he was like, "No."
Like
so shout out.
Douchebag.
It's probably a good choice. It's probably a good choice.
Excellent.
You were on a mountain.
That's a sign of a smart player. Stay away from us.
Yeah. So I'm also surprised more people don't do that. Yeah, I want to say like, yeah, this Aviators team is like they're clicking. I think this version of the Aviators is better than the version that played the Summit early on. But yeah, like having like the Summit kind of at full power, I think kind of almost negates that a little bit. I think we might see a similar outcome, but I'm just hoping for a good game, and I'm going to be rooting for the Aviators because, you know, a little sneak peek into our playoff auction. But if we're talking about teams that are gonna drink the most with us at championship weekend, that's huge. So
that's a lock if they're there.
Yeah. That's a lock. Yeah. So yeah, I'm rooting for them, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be a toss up.
Yeah, I think I mean obviously both teams are going to be better. I think some of the question is how much has losing 4 of their last 6 or 7 games going to be affecting Colorado. They lost pretty much all the good games they had, and then they beat like the Dukies of their division. Also, that Minnesota game might have been in that last stretch also. So I don't want to say they didn't like dominate any good teams, because I think that game might have been included in there. But still, I mean, it was just a tough second half of the schedule for them. Like not even just record wise, just like schedule wise, playing the Shred twice and playing the Empire toward the end of the season. I think they're the better team. I think I have a hard time trusting the Aviators, even though I think they totally have it in them to win this game. I think it's just a little bit hard to say I think they're going to, as much as it's like I think they have the upside to be able to, especially like if they can just like minimize some of their really dumb turnovers on just like, even if it was like a fine decision on the throw, just a bad throw, just throwing it deep when you don't really have that, and it just is lofty, and you could have just holstered that and found Pavel again, and then he could have done that throw. So I don't know. The Aviators, they're good, and I don't know. I think earlier this season I would have been a lot more confident that the Summit's defense was what was going to win this game, but the Aviators have a pretty solid defense too, and I could totally see them stealing a couple breaks from the Summit and making this like a really tight game. So I don't know. I think I probably have the Summit, but I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Lucas Ambrose.
Shout out.
League leader in blocks.
All right. The line for this game is Colorado Summit. Let's go, baby. -1.5.
Nice. Give me Los Angeles. I'm just kidding. Give me Colorado.
I'm going Colorado too. I'm sorry.
Man, now you're making me second guess my line. All right, I'm gonna go Colorado 3. So that means Joe's definitely gonna win this one when the Aviators upset the Summit.
Dude, I hope so. All right. We did so many fucking segments. I'm open.
Let's
stop.
going live.